back to my channel. So a while ago I did a dedicated CNA night shift video, and originally my plan was to be like a dedicated CNA night shift and a dedicated CNA day shift, and then a dedicated video comparing both of them. But then I thought, you know what, it seems kind of repetitive, so today I'm just gonna compare how CNA day shift versus CNA night shift is. And for those of you who are new, I have worked nights. I worked 12-hour shifts at a hospital. I've worked nights for 1.5 years, and then I switched over to day shift. And let me just say, I love day shift mainly because of the sleeping schedule. Like, I feel like a normal person. I will say that working nights, it is more calmer than day shift. But you know, I just like to have a normal sleep schedule. I don't like being up at night. Yeah, I'm just a day shift kind of person. So let's just start off with the pay. Do you get paid more? And most likely you will get paid a little bit more. You know, the night shift differential, working nights. Nights will include, at least in my facility, it's if you work 8 hours, 3 to 11, 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. 7 p to 7 a, and then 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. So those are all the categories that gets you that night shift differential. But if you work days, then you don't get that. And in my hospital, it's like around $2 difference. So let's say that if you're working day shift and you make $15, then you're making $15. But if you work nights, you get $15 plus those $2, so you're making $17, you know? That little bit of a motivation that you need so you can get on with that night shift. And then the patient load, is that different? Is that anything different? Yes, it is. So during day shift, usually there's 4 CNAs per unit. And I'm in the flow pool. I've been in the flow pool for now like over 4 years now. And typically a floor has 4 CNAs. So this gives you like about 8 to 10 patients around so during day shift. And versus night shift, they cut back a CNA because you know, nights it's a little bit slower. And they cut back a CNA, so you go from 8 to 10 patients to 12 to 13 patients. So it's a little bit heavier of a load, but then again, hopefully the idea is that they'll be sleeping, so yeah. Okay, so next off, we're going into our shift. So 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 1900 to 2000. And I'm gonna be using military time because that's just what the hospital uses, so yeah. Okay, so during the first 15 minutes to half an hour, I get report. And then after that, I'll go into my patient's room. I'll update the boards, you know, introduce myself, pass waters to the patients who can get waters. Like, for example, patients who are NPO, meaning nothing by mouth, they can't get water. Things like that. This will take like about 1 hour, and during this time the nurses will take the first set of vitals, and then after that the CNAs do it twice because it's every 4 hours. So during day shift it'll be 12 p.m., 1600, and then night shift midnight and 4 in the morning. So you know, first hour, that's what I'll be doing. And then already a difference here is that during the day shift, patients are most likely asleep unless, you know, breakfast trays are there early and they're getting a head start into the breakfast. But for the most part, they'll be asleep. So when I walk into the room, they might be woken up by me and they might have to use the bathroom, so I'll help them with that. I'll help them get set up for their breakfast trays and things like that. Versus night shift, when I first walk into the rooms, most of them are already awake. They might be talking with their family members, watching TV, eating their dinner, you know, but for the most part, they're already awake. Versus day shift, they might be asleep. So that's already the first difference right there. So now we move on to our next block. So 8 a.m. to 11 in the morning versus 2000 to 2300. So during this time, it's just, you know, CNA work. During this time, so one of the difference here, if I plan, okay, Mr. Smith, you want to take a shower at 10 in the morning? versus, all right, Mr. Smith, do you want to take a shower at 2200, meaning 10 p.m.? He says yes. All right, cool. I do other things. I come back at that time. During day shift, you know, that's not always gonna happen because he might be gone for a procedure. He might have gone down to CT for an x-ray. He might be with an echocardiogram, and those take a while. Physical therapy might be there, the doctor might be there, family might be there. There's just so many things that go on during day shift. So if you plan something, it's not always gonna happen at that time. Versus night shift, you know, if I say 10 p.m., Mr. Smith, you're gonna get your shower, most likely it is gonna happen because doctors at that time, they would have finished their rounds by then. Family members, they're not gonna be there. You know, if they're not gonna be spending the night there, they're not gonna be there. Physical therapy for sure won't be there. Like, most of the activity will kind of like die down. So if I plan something at night, most likely it's gonna happen. Versus day shift, if I plan something, it might not happen. So I'm kind of have to like go around, kind of rearrange my time. And then also during this time, during day shift, it's gonna start picking up because people are waking up. Versus night shift, it's gonna slow down because people are gonna be going to sleep. Which brings us to our next block of time, which is 11 in the morning to 12:30 p.m. versus 2300 to 24:30. So I give myself like an hour and a half to do vitals because, you know, when you come in to do vitals, you plan on just doing vitals, but you might be doing other things as well. You might be there to changing briefs, walking them to the bathroom, and some other things as well, because, you know, you're in the room and they might need something, so you're there to address their needs. And during day shift, you know, everyone is awake. During night shift, things are starting to slow down, so most of the patients are trying to go to sleep. So this is the time where you're gonna be waking people up like, hey, I'm here to do your vitals. Of course you don't want to come in and abruptly like say that, but, you know, gently wake them up. And if they're mad at you, say, you know what, I'm just sorry, but we're here in the hospital, we're here to take care of you. If there's any changes, we would like to find out sooner rather than later, you know? Okay, so our next block of time is 24:30 to 1500 versus 24:30 to 3 in the morning. And again, this is the time where I'm just doing CNA stuff. And again, during day shift, this is where it picks up. You know, people are moving, a lot of activity is going on, meaning like PT, OT, all different respiratory is there, you know. A lot of things are happening during day shift versus night shift. You know, at this time, most likely patients are asleep, but of course you have those patients who are wild at night and they will just not go to sleep and things like that. But for the most part, this is like where it kind of like takes a little dip, and you know, people don't like using the Q word, which is the quiet time, but this is when the time is. And again, just doing regular CNA work. And now we move on to the next sets of vitals, which is 1500 to 1630 versus hold on, I have to get with my times. What am I? 3 in the morning versus 4:30 in the morning. So again, during days when I'm doing vitals, everyone is awake. Nights, most likely I'll be waking everyone up. And the difference again here, at least in my facility, is that I have to do daily weights. So meaning the beds, they're already equipped with I can do weights on them, but they're only set to like 1 pillow and then a couple of blankets and then the patient, and then that's it. So everything else I have to get out of the bed. So if they have the, you know, the leg squeezers, the SED machine, I have to take that off. If they have special pillows, I have to take that off. If they have like 10 blankets, I have to take 9 of them out. And there's like such a big movement happening at this time of the morning, which I always feel bad because, you know, they're just not getting their rest at that point, because I'm just like already trying to take everything out of the bed so I can take their weight. That's one thing that I'm happy that I don't have to do right now, because that's only during nights. So yep. And then again during day shift, if I plan on doing vitals, they might not be there, so I have to remember whenever they come back from wherever they went, have to come back for your vitals. Then we move on to our last block of time, which is 16:30 to 1900 versus 4:30 in the morning to 7 in the morning. Again, during this time I'm just doing CNA work. Then in night shift, if they have a morning procedure, meaning if like somewhere between 7 a.m. to like 10 a.m. if they have a procedure, the CNAs for night shift, they have to prep them. So if they're going through the groin, so I have to prep that area. If they're going through the wrist, I have to prep that area, because we have to do it X amount of hours before the procedure, and that always falls on night shift. So that's one thing that I also had to do during nights. And I believe that's it. Let me just check. Yeah, that's the yeah, for that block of time, that was the main difference. But yeah, that was a little bit of an overview of how day shift and night shift works. They're really total opposites, because during day shift there's like a lot going on, versus night shift there's not much going on, but there's still, you know, activity going on. There's still briefs to change. There's still patients who are going wild, and they're restless and they're agitated. So you get a little bit of a both different, whichever shift you're on, you're still gonna get some action. I hope you found this helpful, just to give you an insight to see what's the difference between them both. And if you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will talk to you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.